Donald Trump has once again proven that his influence extends far beyond the borders of the United States, shaking up international negotiations and putting Keir Starmer, leader of the UK's Labour Party, in a position of both embarrassment and uncertainty. This unfolding drama centres around the Chagos Islands, a strategically critical archipelago in the Indian Ocean, and a proposed agreement between the UK and Mauritius. The stakes are high, and Trump has made it clear that he intends to play a pivotal role in the outcome of these negotiations. Keir Starmer and his party had been optimistic about finalising a historic agreement with Mauritius that would transfer sovereignty over the Chagos Islands. The Labour Party, eager to project an image of global diplomacy and justice, sought to correct what they termed a colonial-era wrong. The Chagos Islanders, who were forcibly removed from their homeland in the 1960s to make way for a U.S. military base on Diego Garcia, have long demanded restitution and the right to return. Starmer likely believed that a swift resolution to this issue would earn him international accolades and solidify his standing as a forward-thinking statesman. But Trump's looming return to the White House has complicated matters. According to explosive reports, Trump is prepared to veto the deal, citing national security concerns and the potential for China to exploit the situation. Diego Garcia, the largest island in the Chagos archipelago, houses a critical U.S. military base that plays a key role in America's global defense strategy. For Trump and his allies, the idea of transferring sovereignty over the islands to Mauritius, an ally of China, is a non-starter. Trump's opposition to the deal is reportedly grounded in advice from the Pentagon. Sources within the Department of Defense have warned that ceding control of the Chagos Islands could create a vacuum that China would quickly exploit. With Beijing's growing influence in the Indian Ocean region, allowing Mauritius to take control of the archipelago is seen as a direct threat to the balance of power. Republican figures like Mike Waltz and Marco Rubio have been vocal in their concerns, pointing to the looming threat of China as a reason to block the agreement. Nigel Farage, the leader of Reform UK and a staunch supporter of Trump, has also weighed in on the controversy. Farage, known for his outspoken and often controversial views, has highlighted the risks of trusting international agreements. Drawing comparisons to the situation in Hong Kong, where promises of autonomy were swiftly undermined by China, Farage warned that any agreement with Mauritius could easily be violated. His comments add fuel to the fire, painting a picture of a world where China's ambitions go unchecked if the UK relinquishes control over the Chagos Islands. Adding to the intrigue is a report that Trump's advisors have described Diego Garcia as the most important island on the planet from an American strategic perspective. The base serves as a hub for U.S. military operations in the Middle East and Asia, hosting bombers, surveillance planes, and naval assets. Its importance cannot be overstated, and Trump's allies argue that maintaining the status quo is essential for America's global security posture. The situation is further complicated by Mauritius' shifting stance. The country's Prime Minister, Navichandra Ramgoolam, has expressed a desire to review the terms of the agreement before committing to a treaty. This uncertainty has only added to the growing anxiety among British officials, who now doubt that the deal can be finalised before Trump's return to the White House. Confidence in the Labour Party's ability to deliver on its promises is waning, and Starmer finds himself under increasing pressure to navigate this diplomatic minefield. Trump's strategy is clear: leverage his influence and connections to ensure that the Chagos Islands remain under British and American control. Reports suggest that Trump's presidential transition team is working closely with the Pentagon to explore legal avenues for blocking the agreement. This proactive approach underscores Trump's commitment to his America First philosophy, even before officially reclaiming the presidency. For Starmer, this turn of events is a significant setback. The Labour leader had hoped to use the Chagos Islands deal as a symbol of his party's commitment to human rights and international cooperation. Instead, he now faces criticism for underestimating Trump's influence and failing to anticipate the geopolitical ramifications of the agreement. His miscalculation has not only embarrassed the Labour Party but also raised questions about his ability to navigate complex international issues. The broader implications of this saga cannot be ignored. The Chagos Islands are more than just a diplomatic dispute, they represent a microcosm of the larger struggle for power and influence in the 21st century. As China continues to expand its reach, The actions of leaders like Trump will play a crucial role in shaping the global balance of power. For now, Trump's stance on the Chagos Islands sends a clear message: the United States will not stand idly by while its strategic interests are threatened. As this story develops, all eyes will be on the negotiations and the players involved. Will Starmer find a way to salvage the agreement? Or will Trump's return to power mark the end of Labour's aspirations for the Chagos Islands? One thing is certain: this is a battle that will have far-reaching consequences, both for the region and for the leaders who stake their reputations on its outcome. Stay tuned as we continue to bring you the latest updates on this unfolding drama. London has been left shaken by a horrifying act of violence that has stunned the community and reignited debates about youth crime, music, and social media. The brutal murder of 14-year-old Kellen Baser, known to his peers as Gripper, has gripped the nation with shock and sorrow. The teenager was fatally stabbed on a busy London bus, an act of unthinkable brutality that has drawn attention to the alarming connections between gang culture and the rising influence of drill music. Eyewitnesses described the horrifying scene. Kellen was attacked on the 472 bus while attempting to escape his assailants. The attackers, reportedly two boys aged 15 and 16, struck with a machete in broad daylight. Passengers were left helpless as the young boy suffered fatal injuries, unable to flee due to the confined space of the bus. Within minutes, the scene transformed from the mundane to a nightmare, leaving passengers and witnesses in a state of shock. The Metropolitan Police have named two suspects in connection with the killing, Colin Chaba and Mosa Zazi. Authorities have issued an urgent public appeal for information, urging anyone who knows their whereabouts to come forward. Police caution the public not to approach the suspects if seen, emphasizing the potential danger they pose. While investigators work tirelessly to piece together the circumstances of Kellen's death, a disturbing trend has come to light. Lyrics from drill music tracks surfaced online shortly after the attack, appearing to glorify the murder. These lyrics, chillingly detailed, brag about the stabbing and mock Kellen's futile attempts to escape. The lines, shared widely across social media platforms, have amplified outrage and fueled concerns about the influence of this controversial music genre. Drill music, a subgenre of rap, has long been criticized for its links to gang culture and violent crime. Its often explicit lyrics, which graphically depict violence and rivalries, are seen by some as a catalyst for real-world violence among youth. Critics argue that drill glorifies gang-related activities, turning tragic events like Kellen's murder into material for online clout. For grieving families and affected communities, this phenomenon deepens the wounds left by such senseless acts of violence. The connection between drill music and gang violence is a complex and hotly debated topic. Supporters of the genre argue that it provides a voice for marginalized youth, allowing them to express their frustrations and realities. However, detractors contend that the music perpetuates a cycle of violence, encouraging young listeners to emulate the dangerous behaviors described in the lyrics. Kellen's murder has reignited this debate, with many calling for stricter regulations on content shared online and increased scrutiny of drill artists. The impact of Kellen's death has reverberated throughout his community. Friends, family, and local residents have expressed their grief and outrage, struggling to come to terms with the loss of such a young life. Detective Chief Inspector Sarah Lee described the case as deeply affecting, not only for those who knew Kellen but for the wider community as well. She emphasized the tireless efforts of her team, who are conducting increased patrols, weapon searches, and house-to-house inquiries to bring the perpetrators to justice. Kellen, who was briefly a student at St. Columba's Catholic Boys' School, was well known in his local area. His involvement in drill music, performing under the name Gripper, has raised questions about whether his role in the genre contributed to his targeting. Some speculate that his lyrics or affiliations may have provoked rivalries that culminated in his tragic death. The murder has also drawn attention to the role of social media in perpetuating violence. Platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube have been criticized for allowing drill music videos and lyrics that glorify violence to remain accessible. Critics argue that these platforms inadvertently provide a stage for gang members to boast about their crimes, inciting further violence and creating a culture of fear. Adding to the tension, anonymous drill tracks have surfaced online, seemingly celebrating Kellen's murder. Lyrics such as "Court Gripper lacking on the 472 and Blade in my coat, it's do or die" have been interpreted as veiled confessions or taunts directed at the victim's family and community. These posts have drawn widespread condemnation, with calls for tech companies to take greater responsibility for monitoring and removing harmful content. Meanwhile, the police are urging the public to assist in locating Chaba and Zazi, emphasizing the importance of community cooperation in solving the case. While the investigation progresses, the tragedy has prompted a broader conversation about the factors contributing to youth violence. From the allure of gang culture to the role of music and social media, many are questioning how such senseless killings can be prevented. The ripple effects of Kellen's murder have extended beyond his immediate community. Advocacy groups and policymakers are calling for urgent action to address the root causes of youth violence. Proposals include increasing funding for youth programs, creating safe spaces for at-risk teens, and investing in education and mentorship initiatives. Additionally, some are advocating for tighter restrictions on drill music and greater accountability for social media platforms. As London grapples with this latest tragedy, the case of Kellen Baser serves as a stark reminder of the challenges facing modern urban societies. The intersection of music, social media, and youth violence presents a complex web of issues that demand a multifaceted approach. While the immediate focus remains on bringing Kellen's killers to justice, the broader implications of his death cannot be ignored. The murder of Kellen Baser is more than a single act of violence, it is a reflection of deeper societal issues that require urgent attention. As the community mourns, the search for answers and solutions continues, with the hope that Kellen's death will not be in vain. Potholes have become the bane of British drivers, emerging as the #1 complaint in a country where motoring is central to daily life. Recent surveys reveal that 61% of drivers across the UK consider the deteriorating state of the roads their biggest concern. This frustration is not unwarranted. The current state of the nation's roads is dire, with experts estimating that repairing the accumulated damage would require a staggering £6 billion, a sum that highlights decades of neglect. The issue came into sharp focus during National Pothole Day, a campaign designed to draw attention to the worsening condition of British roads and the impact potholes have on motorists. Motoring experts like Tom Banks from GoCompare have highlighted the dangers posed by these road defects. Potholes, formed when water seeps into the foundation of roads and expands during cold weather, cause significant damage to vehicles. Common issues include punctured tires, misaligned steering, damaged suspension systems, and even more severe mechanical problems such as fluid leaks and exhaust system failures. The financial and emotional toll of these damages is immense. For some drivers, hitting a pothole might result in a minor inconvenience, like a flat tire. For others, the consequences can be far worse, with costly repairs or, in the worst cases, accidents. The severity of the damage depends largely on the depth of the pothole and the speed at which the vehicle is traveling when it strikes the obstacle. Drivers often swerve to avoid potholes, a maneuver that introduces its own set of risks, including collisions with other vehicles or objects. The alarming state of British roads isn't just an inconvenience, it's a safety hazard. Data from the Asphalt Industry Alliance suggests that road surface issues, including potholes, contribute to 12% of road accidents nationwide. These figures underscore the urgency of addressing the problem. The Alliance's chair, David Giles, has described the situation as an all-time low, attributing it to decades of underfunding and neglect. According to their estimates, the cost of addressing the backlog of repairs across England and Wales now exceeds £6 billion, a figure that continues to climb as more roads deteriorate. Despite these challenges, government efforts to tackle the issue have been met with mixed reviews. The Labour Party has pledged an additional £500 million to address the pothole problem, but critics argue that this sum is a drop in the ocean compared to the scale of the repairs needed. Local councils, responsible for maintaining roads, often struggle with limited budgets and competing priorities. As a result, many potholes remain unaddressed, leaving drivers to bear the brunt of the consequences. Public frustration is mounting. A survey of over 1,700 motorists revealed widespread dissatisfaction with the state of UK roads. Drivers expressed concerns about the lack of accountability and long-term planning, criticizing what they see as a reactive approach to road maintenance. Rather than addressing the root causes of road deterioration, many councils are accused of opting for temporary fixes that fail to provide a lasting solution. The economic implications of this issue extend beyond individual drivers. Poor road conditions increase transportation costs for businesses, as delivery vehicles and commercial fleets face higher maintenance expenses. These costs are often passed on to consumers, contributing to rising prices for goods and services. Moreover, the inefficiency caused by delays and detours due to road repairs further hampers productivity, affecting industries that rely on smooth transportation networks. National Pothole Day has also shone a spotlight on the need for public involvement. The campaign encourages citizens to report potholes through platforms like the Fill That Hole website, which allows users to log road defects directly to their local council. This initiative aims to empower communities to take an active role in improving road safety and holding authorities accountable. However, some critics argue that the burden of reporting should not fall on the public, calling for more proactive monitoring and maintenance by local governments. The issue of potholes is not just about infrastructure, it's a reflection of broader challenges in governance and public policy. Many experts see the current state of British roads as a symptom of systemic underinvestment in critical infrastructure. While the government often touts large-scale projects like high-speed rail or airport expansions, the less glamorous but equally vital task of maintaining local roads is frequently overlooked. This neglect has long-term consequences, as the cost of delayed maintenance far exceeds the expense of timely repairs. The situation has also reignited debates about the role of taxation in funding public infrastructure. British drivers already pay some of the highest fuel taxes in Europe, yet many feel that these funds are not being adequately reinvested into road maintenance. This disconnect has fueled calls for greater transparency and accountability in how public money is allocated and spent. Meanwhile, the motoring community continues to advocate for change. Organizations like the RAC and AA have joined the chorus of voices demanding urgent action to address the pothole crisis. They argue that investment in road maintenance is not only a matter of convenience but also a crucial step toward improving public safety and reducing the economic burden on drivers and businesses alike. As the UK grapples with this issue, comparisons with other countries provide valuable insights. Nations like Germany and the Netherlands, known for their well-maintained roads, allocate significantly more resources to infrastructure upkeep. These countries prioritize preventative maintenance, a strategy that reduces long-term costs and ensures safer driving conditions. By adopting similar approaches, the UK could address its pothole problem more effectively and avoid the escalating costs associated with delayed repairs. In the meantime, British drivers are left navigating a landscape of deteriorating roads, frustrated by the lack of progress and wary of the risks posed by potholes. The annual celebration of National Pothole Day serves as a reminder of the urgent need for change, but the road to resolution remains uncertain. For now, the question remains, how long will it take for the UK to prioritise the safety and reliability of its roads? As this issue continues to unfold, one thing is clear: the state of the nation's roads is not just a minor inconvenience, it's a major problem that demands immediate and sustained attention. British drivers deserve better, and the time for action is now.